Your latest news update from Western Mass News.
Good morning, I'm Glenn Kittle, and here's your latest news update from Western Mass News. President Joe Biden ordered the Pentagon to shoot down an unknown object flying off the coast of Alaska. The downing of this aircraft coming nearly a week after the United States shot down a Chinese balloon. Currently, there are still looming questions over why China would send this balloon and if our response set the stage for other countries to also send out these types of objects. As far as the object recovered yesterday, officials are not saying it had any surveillance equipment on it. Police say 43-year-old Luis Ruiz of Springfield is connected to 2 local bank robberies, and we've learned this isn't his first run-in with the police. Authorities say the 2 robberies that took place in the past few weeks, the first one at Berkshire Bank in Longmeadow on January 30th, and the second at Key Bank in East Longmeadow on February 2nd. Ruiz is still in custody, and we're told he hasn't been arraigned on these new charges. Tommy Car Auto Group in Northampton is collecting donations for those in Syria and Turkey who have lost everything after massive earthquakes left thousands dead and cities decimated. They are deciding to ask the community to donate necessities, and starting this week, multiple cargo plans have been arranged to ship supplies donated overseas. Donations such as blankets, heaters, and jackets can be dropped off at Northampton Volkswagen, located on King Street in Northampton.
It's back to reality in the weather world. Yesterday, record warmth near 60. How about low 40s, which is actually still above average for the local area, but going to feel even cooler with the wind. And really, that's the main story of today's forecast. Not the sun or clouds, it's the wind. By Super Bowl Sunday, temperatures back up to near 50, but not today. Real feel is going to be in the 20s and low 30s, even though the thermometer may say low 40s. So keep that in mind. 12 o'clock, wind chill around 33. Yesterday it was like 53. So not terribly cold, but a big change compared to yesterday. A pretty calm week. Then we have a big storm to track with a warm front coming through some point Thursday into Friday. Could see record warmth once again, then strong winds and heavy rain, even some thunder possible into Friday morning before temperatures fall back off. 40s for most of the week, even some 50s. We should be in the mid to upper 30s. Nowhere near that except for today. 41 chilly with the breeze. Super Bowl Sunday dry and on the mild side, cooling things off a little bit to start off the week, but still above average. Dry for Valentine's Day. A big warm up with record warm Thursday into Friday, cooling things off for next weekend.
Stay with Western Mass News on air, online, and on our app throughout the day for breaking news, weather, and exclusive content.